Hi there, my lovely viewers. How's it going? I know you're a few days away from your exam. This is the toughest time of your life, but hang in there. You can do it. When going gets tough, tough gets going. That's how it is. I've been through this and I know how it feels. But let me just give you a tip of the day that stay positive, stay focused. Whatever time you have, skip all the activities and focus on passing the exam in the very first attempt, because you've already put in so much of effort. So do not waste your time in anything extra. Just for a few days, skip all the activities. You already have spring break, so you have the chance to pass the test in the very first attempt. Focus with all your energy on your test, and hopefully you are going to do that. And also I want to thank you that whenever you drop your positive comments in the form of some encouraging feedback, trust me, it means the whole world to me, because my hard work seems to be rewarded. Keep on doing that. That is what motivates me. So let's see what today's video is all about. We got plenty of questions about this, almost 4 to 5 questions about this. So you should have in-depth knowledge about this concept. So let's not wait any further and dive into the video. So let's begin today's video, which is about an extremely important topic. It's about different types of tests, for example, formative test, pre-test, diagnostic, and progress test. Let me show you the question that we got in the exam. The question is, what kind of test would a language teacher conduct at the start of an academic year to see what areas of language each student needs to improve? Our first, let's look at the keywords. We need to identify the kind of test conducted by a language teacher, and what's the purpose of the test? To identify what areas of language each student needs to improve. Keeping these keywords in mind, we'll review the options that we have. Our first option is a formative test, second option is a pre-test, third one is a diagnostic test, and fourth one is a progress test. So let's review what each category is actually and what can be the right answer. So our first option was formative assessment. Let's have a look at what formative assessment is all about. Formative tests help teachers and parents monitor progress a student is making on daily basis. Tag this word in your mind, on daily basis. Formative assessment refers to a wide variety of methods that teachers use to conduct in-process evaluations of student comprehension, learning needs, and academic progress during either a lesson or a unit or a course. So let me give you an example based on a scenario. Let's say I'm teaching my students about past tense, that past tense talks about things happening in past, and we use the second form of the verb, and what is past simple, past continuous, and past perfect all about. And then after telling them about the intricacies of the tense, what forms of verbs are used, by providing them examples, afterwards I ask them to write us 2-3 sentences about what they did before sleeping last night. So some of them might write that I gave myself a treat for working so hard, so I enjoyed having an ice cream with my sister. Or another one might say I spent some quality time with my siblings. Another one might say that I watched an interesting movie. Another one might say I read an interesting book. So I'll make a note of it that okay, all of them are using the correct form of the verb. All of them are well acquainted with the technicalities of the tense. So I would understand with the help of this in process evaluation that they already have full command over past tense, and they are ready to learn for the future tense, right? So this is just an example of this one, formative assessment. So let's review formative assessment in detail. Formative assessments, they help students to learn and practice. When are they conducted? They are conducted throughout the course. For example, this week I'm teaching present tense, so I can conduct it every day at the end of the lesson to check whether my students have got the full command over present simple tense. Next week I'm teaching past tense, so obviously I'll again conduct a formative assessment to check whether they can differentiate between the past tense and the present tense. And maybe the third week I'm teaching them the future tense, and then I can conduct a test to check how my students have understood the difference between the past, present, and future phases. time phases. So I can conduct them throughout the course. Whenever I'm teaching a different topic, I have to check whether the concept has been grasped by my students or not. Why are they conducted? They identify the learning gaps and improve learning. For example, let me give you a hint that last week I taught my students present tense, where we use the first form of the verb, and this week I'm teaching my students past tense, and at the end of the lesson I asked my students to write a sentence about what did they do before sleeping, any particular activity. So let's say most of them tell me that I watched a nice movie, I had some quality time with my parents, but another student says that I always watch a movie before sleeping. So that means I can identify the learning gap, that the student is mixing up present simple and past simple. So I've identified the gap with the help of formative assessment. So I can devise certain approaches and certain strategies that can help support the particular needs. I can ask the students to I can show the students more examples, more scenarios, so that the student can differentiate that when to use past tense and when to use present tense, so that student is clear-headed that now to mention the activities in past we don't use habitual actions, they're only used in present tense you can use to mention habitual actions. So what is summative assessment all about? This is just a bonus explanation. It was not a part of the question, but it can clarify the concept about summative assessment. It's the opposite of formative. Summative assessments, they assess student performance when at the end of the instructional period, whereas formative assessments check the progress of the students throughout the course, but they assess the student assessment at the end of the period. Um, why? They collect evidence of the student knowledge, skill or proficiency, but at the end of a course, not on daily basis, not at the end of every chapter, every unit. How do you do that? You can do via exit learning products or cumulative assessment tests, which are conducted at the end of an instructional period. The end of term exams can also be called summative tests. They check the overall project throughout a term, like for example, if you're conducting first term exam, second term exam, third term exam, so you're checking the students progress at the end of the full instructional period, not one day, not one lesson, not one chapter. So this is how they're differentiated from each other. Here the quality of assessment is for a long term. The purpose to assess a student's progress is based on a long period of time. Here you are checking them on daily basis, from topic to topic, chapter to chapter, unit to unit. So let's review some of the examples of formative assessments. They include asking students to draw a concept map in class to represent their understanding of a topic, or submit one or two sentences identifying the main point of a lecture, or turn in a research proposal for early feedback. Let me give you a scenario. Let's say that I taught them a story. I gave them a brief synopsis of the whole play Hamlet, and then I give them a story map at the end of the lesson, and I tell them who are the main characters in the story, what's the main conflict in the story, what's the setting of the story, and is the ending tragic or comic. So they fill in the things in the story map, which will give me a clear picture whether during telling the while telling them the summary of the play, have all my students noted down the important points. Do they know that who's the main character, who's the villain, who's the heroic character? Do they know whether it's a tragic play or a comic play? And do they know the setting of the story or the main conflict to be tackled? So this mind map can be a good option to check the students' knowledge at the end of the lesson. Another example can be a simple but effective formative assessment is the exit ticket, if you know about the KWL chart. So exit tickets are small pieces of paper or cards that students deposit as they leave the classroom. Students write down an accurate interpretation of the main idea behind the lesson taught that day, and next day they provide more detail about the topic. Of course, after some homework, some groundwork, some research, they can add to the information. But let me give you an example of this. Let's say I taught my students today what's the difference between a tragic play and a comic play. I tell them the technical definition of a tragedy and a comedy, and at the end of the class I give them a chit, and I tell them to write the names of two movies they watch, one tragic, one comic.
so that I know they've understood the difference between the tragic play and a comic play. So let's say one student writes the example of a comic play, Charlie Chaplin's movies, and tragic play, Macbeth or Hamlet or Othello. So that means I know that my student has understood the difference between a tragedy and a comedy. So this simple exit chit has made me understand this is a kind of there is no learning gap. My students can differentiate between a tragic and a comic play. So that means I conducted a formative assessment, and I can do it on daily basis. Let's say next day I'm teaching my students what is descriptive writing, and at the end of the lesson I give them an exit sheet and I tell them write a sentence, what one technique of descriptive writing that you know, and one student writes that it's about the usage of five senses to draw a picture in the reader's mind. So I know that my students have grasped the topic. So you conduct formative assessment at the end of each topic to check if there are any learning gaps or not. This is a very effective technique to figure out the learning gaps and design remedial strategies. So let's review what pre-tests are. Pre-tests are non-graded assessment tools used to determine pre-existing subject knowledge. Typically, pre-tests are administered prior to a course. If you want to answer the question given at the end, they are even administered before a course has actually started. So if you know this term, if you remember this word, you'll be able to answer the question at the end. They are administered usually before a course has actually officially started to determine usually the knowledge baseline, or they are used to test students' prior topical material coverage throughout the course. Pre-tests allow teachers to see the level of proficiency for each student. They should assess the degree to which students meet expectations using just prior knowledge. For example, a geography pretest can assess students' understanding of the concepts of latitude and longitude. Let me give you an example. When I wanted to take admission in the university for my master's in English literature, there was a pre-test conducted, and we were tested on different areas belonging to literature, that is poetry, prose, drama, uh, criticism. There were different sections of the pre-test. Based on that pre-test, out of 400 students, only 50 students were selected to be given admission in a class for Masters in English Literature. So I remember that was a pre-test which was conducted. No marks were given, but we were only given a chance to take the admission in Masters in English Literature if we cleared that pre-test. So you can remember this example in your mind, that a pre-test allows you to judge whether you have a sufficient baseline to join a particular course. For example, in different countries, different courses are conducted, and pre-tests determine your admission to that particular course. For example, there is CSS in Pakistan. So the in the pre-test you are selected, then you are taken to the interview stage. So I hope in what other countries also such exams are conducted in the form of a pre-test to make the judge your baseline knowledge, and then your final selections are made. So let's review what a diagnostic test is all about. This testing is used to diagnose or identify what a student knows and does not know. So remember the keywords here. You want to diagnose, or you want to identify what a student already knows and what a student does not know. You can judge or determine what a student already knows and what she'll need to learn in the upcoming unit. They identify the focus of intervention, because when you conduct a diagnostic test, you come to know that okay, this is my new class of grade 10 and they have this much knowledge and this much knowledge needs to be put in. I'll give you another example after I read this information for you. A diagnostic assessment is a form of pre-assessment where teachers can evaluate students' strengths and weaknesses, knowledge and skills before their instruction. Before you actually start the instruction, you can see their strengths and weaknesses by conducting a diagnostic test. These assessments allow the instructor to adjust the curriculum to meet the needs of the content and future students. So it's a type of assessment given at the beginning of the instruction. You give it at the beginning of a course. It aims to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the students regarding the topic to be discussed, because you want to see how much the students already know. You want to identify, diagnose. A diagnostic test is a test designed to locate specific learning deficiencies in case of specific individuals at a specific state of learning lesson to overcome those deficiencies. For example, let's say there is a new batch of students with me in grade 9, and in the beginning I want to judge their written expression. So I give them an essay that describe the person you admire the most, and most of them write an essay on an average level, but after reading their written response, I figure out that there are 3 students who have no idea of using descriptive writing techniques. They are not using 5 senses to describe, to make the readers visualize the scene they want to draw in the reader's mind. So I come to know that most of the class is okay to go ahead, but few of the students need reinforcement or additional practice. Only then they can go further. So I can arrange peer grouping for them, support grouping, or scaffolding for them, depending upon the deficiencies that I have identified in a class. Similarly, I can have a reading comprehension test, a pre-designed diagnostic test. I'm not giving them any marks, but my aim is to see who are the bright students of the class who can take part in a role play. Okay, student B and student C and student D, they are highly confident people. So when I'm conducting an annual role play program, so these students can be given lead characters. So I have to identify, by conducting a role play session, I can identify their strengths and weaknesses for the future role play. So this is how in the beginning I'm not well acquainted with the students, but I'm conducting a diagnostic test to identify the strengths and weaknesses of my class. So let's see what can be some examples of diagnostic tests in a class. It can be initial writing prompts. For example, let's imagine I have a batch of new students in my grade 9, and I want to see whether they know the techniques of speech writing or not. So I give them a writing prompt that today's mobile phones should be banned in public places. How far do you agree? So they have to give a speech whether they agree or not. So once they write it and I check their written response, and I see that my students have no idea about the techniques of speech writing. They are not incorporating rhetorical questioning, or they are not using facts and figures to support ideas, and they are not referring to any anecdote to support what they have said, has also been observed in one of the recent happenings. So then I identify the deficiencies, and I decide that first I'll acquaint them with the techniques. I show them a sample answer, then I can ask them to write a speech. So perhaps after identifying, with the help of this diagnostic test, after identifying their deficiencies, I improvised my plan and designed a strategy of teaching based on my diagnostic test. Or KWL charts are also an example of the diagnostic test to see what the students already know, what they need to know, and what they have learned at the end of the lesson. The rest of them are also some of the examples. You can pause the video and go through them, but the basic aim is teachers can identify and correct misconceptions. They can explain how classroom instruction has been adapted to meet the needs of the students. So let's review what progress test is all about. A progress test, it's a written knowledge exam, but what's the difference between progress test and another test? It's usually involving multiple choice question that is usually administered to all students in a program. All the students in a class in a program at the same time and at regular intervals, usually twice to 4 times yearly, throughout the entire academic program. So you can see the difference. If I'm conducting a test at the end of a lesson, a formative assessment, I'm checking student to student variation. Every student's chit can be deposited at the end of a lesson, and I'll see that okay, student A has understood, student B has understood, student C needs to understand. But a progress test is conducted for the whole class, or the same test is given to the whole class, whereas you can have different methods in a formative assessment. You can give different tests to different students. High achievers can be tested through a different feedback, low achievers can be tested through a different system, but progress test is the same test which is given to the whole class. Same test is given to all the students. So remember, this is how you can learn and differentiate between a progress test and formative assessment, which is done, or a diagnostic assessment. So, long-term progress tests are also called course tests because they check the learner's progress over the entire course. For example, we have end of year exam, we have term 1 exam, term 2 and term 3. So we check the progress at the end of the entire course, right? I did a course from Abu Dhabi University, and whenever a course would finish, for example, educational psychology I took, at the end when the educational psychology course finished, we had a progress test exam, and it was designed, the same test was designed for a class of 56 students. So it was the same test, it was a multiple choice test conducted on computer, but it covered the entire syllabus. So this is one of the examples of the progress test. They enable the students to judge how well they have progressed. Administratively, they are often the sole basis of decisions to promote at a higher level. So when I cleared all the progress tests in the university for educational psychology, classroom management, and there were other subjects like teaching in UAE, education in UAE, and digital technology in education. So when I cleared all the progress tests, only then I was given a certificate by the university. So this is how you can remember this in mind, that they are conducted to promote to a higher level. So for example, you are conducting an exam at the end of grade 9. This is a progress test because on the basis of the result you'll see that student A has cleared in all the subjects, so the student A can be promoted to grade 10, but student B has failed in major subjects, so the student B needs perhaps more reinforcement. So student B might be given some conditional promotion, or needs to be detained in grade 9 so that he can reinforce the concepts and then be promoted to the next class. So achievement or progress tests measure the students' improvement in relation to their entire syllabus. These tests only contain items which the students have been taught in the class. So for example, if I'm giving a diagnostic test, I can simply ask a student, I don't have to see what is in the syllabus. I just need to see how well acquainted my student is, what is the written expression of my student. So I have a new class of grade 9 students. I join them for the first day. So I give them a diagnostic test to see what is the condition of my class, how is their written expression. So I can randomly give them any topic in the world. I can tell them, describe the person you admire the most, and they all write, I like my aunt, I like my uncle, I like my father. And through the written response I can check, okay, this is the condition of the class. Then I teach my students a lesson and I check, I tell them these are the techniques of descriptive writing. You have to use 5 senses to describe, to make the readers visualize a scene. So that means I'm doing formative. First I did a diagnostic test, then I did a formative assessment. I told them all the techniques, and then I checked how much have they learned. Are they applying the usage of 5 senses to describe something or not? But it was not based on any syllabus. The diagnostic test was not based on any syllabus. Formative test was not based on the whole syllabus, but on the chapter that I taught, on the unit that I taught. But progress test is based on their syllabus, entire syllabus. So this is how you can tag these 3 examples in your mind so that you are able to differentiate. So these tests only contain items which the students have been taught in the class, because it's the end of year exam, end of term exam, where you're checking their progress for all the 3 months. Let's say term 1 exam is based on September, October, November, and you're conducting an exam in December. So the entire syllabus that has been taught in 3 months can be checked in the form of progress tests. Similarly, if you are having an end of year exam, the entire syllabus which has been taught in the full year, full term, can be checked, and at the end you can see student A cleared in all the subjects, ready to be promoted to grade 10. So they enable the teacher to decide if remedial or consolidated work is required, if a student needs to be detained or promoted to the next class. So let's see our question which I shared in the beginning of the video. Which kind of test would a language teacher conduct at the start of the academic year to see what areas of language each student needs to improve? Formative test, pre-test, diagnostic test, or progress test. So if you remember, formative test can be conducted on daily basis at the end of each lesson to check how much my student has learned. For example, today I taught present tense, tomorrow I taught present continuous, next day I'll be teaching present perfect tense, and the last of the week I'll be doing present perfect continuous. I can have a formative test at the end of every day to see whether my students know which form of the verb has to be used, which helping verb has to be used, and this is how I can conduct formative assessment whenever I teach a different concept. So that means this type of assessment is only conducted at the start of the academic year. So this is not formative assessment. Pre-tests, as I told you, pre-tests are administered prior to a course. You haven't even started a course and you are conducting pre-test to select students for a particular course. I gave you an example that when I had to take admission in the university for Masters in English Literature, a pre-test was conducted in which 400 students took part, and out of those 400, only 50 students were selected for their final admission, for the interview call for their admission in the Masters in English Literature. So that was a kind of pre-test which was conducted to see the baseline knowledge of the students who have more aptitude towards literature can be given admission. So that was a pre-test. Now let's see what diagnostic test is. It's a type of assessment given at the beginning of the instruction. So it's not, the difference between pre-test is that they are even conducted prior to a course, before a course has actually started. So selections can be made on the basis of pre-test. But diagnostic tests are conducted at the beginning of the instruction. Whenever you start an instructional time period, let's say our first term has started, I have a batch of new students which are in grade 9. So it aims to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the students regarding the topic to be discussed. Because the students are new to me, so I conduct a diagnostic test. I give them an essay, write an essay about today's world is a dangerous place to live in. How far do you agree? So I can see how many of my students are well acquainted with the techniques of argumentative writing. Are they using rhetorical questioning? Are they using facts and figures? Are they referring to an anecdote? So when I conduct the test, I see that most of the class does not know these techniques. So through this diagnostic test, I can make up my mind that I cannot start teaching them. I cannot start to ask them to write an essay unless I make them well acquainted with the techniques. So first, after identifying these deficiencies in my students through a diagnostic test, I first introduce the techniques. I can tell them these are the 3 techniques. You can use rhetorical questioning, you can use anecdotes, you can refer to facts and figures, and then I can show them a sample essay. Finally, then after showing the sample essay, I can ask them, now you write your written response. And now when I conduct the test in the form of formative assessment, I can see that students have shown a very good change because when I conducted the diagnostic test, that helped me identify their strengths and weaknesses, and I devised my strategies accordingly. So the last option is progress test. We already know that progress tests are conducted to check the progress at the end of the academic year. There are 2 types of progress tests: short-term progress tests, long-term progress tests. So they can be term 1 exam, term 2 exam, term 3 exam, where you're checking the whole, they are based on the 1 term syllabus at least. Term 1 syllabus, term 2 syllabus, term 3 syllabus. So here you are just checking in the beginning of the year, not at the end of the year. So this option is also wrong, and I'm sure you're able to know that your right answer is diagnostic test. So that was all from my side. Actually, I had more questions, but the video got too long, so I'll upload the second video tomorrow morning, hopefully. And I wish you the very best of luck for your exam, and I'm very grateful for your positive feedback. Keep on doing that, because that is the only thing which motivates me to work more for my teacher friends, to struggle more, to strive more, to find material and questions and explanation. I'll keep on supporting you, and in return you keep on supporting me. Thank you so much for watching the video, and stay tuned for another video, and tomorrow morning it will be uploaded. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day.